The following production is part of the Play Some Video Games podcast network.
I say it's time we focus on what really matters. The games. Who's with me?
Hello, sweet world, and welcome to another episode of the PlayStation Experience Podcast, the Bloodborne to PSVG Prime's Sekiro, and PSVG's premier PlayStation podcast. I am one of your hosts, Seth, and am joined, as always, by Justin. Justin, I have a different pep in my step. We're recording on Tuesday night instead of Monday morning, so we're not shaking off the cobwebs of sleep.
No, you sound very lively.
I do. That. And I'm excited. We've got some big news things to talk about this week.
And this is the first
exciting
week in maybe a month that I've understood the references in your intro.
Okay. See, the only reason it makes sense is that Bloodborne is a PlayStation exclusive, where Sekiro is the wide release.
Okay. Well, I didn't go that deep into thought. I just knew the names.
I want my references to make sense, at least.
Okay. Well, like any good joke, you should just follow it up with an explanation.
Yeah, sure. What game over the past, 3 months have we talked about the most? Pop quiz.
Oh, that would be Apex Legends.
Apex Legends. So, dear listeners, this month is May. And every month, one of our 500 PSVG podcasts, give or take 494, sponsors a giveaway. If you are a patron, head over to patreon.com/PSVG to learn more about becoming a patron and what that gets you. Join us on our Discord. That is not a Patreon exclusive. Anybody can get on our Discord, but go over to patreon.com/PSVG and learn more. If you are a patron, you will be entered in a drawing, and there's a grab bag, and it has a few things in there. We are going to be adding a $20 Apex Legends point pack gift card, whatever it's called, $20 in Apex points into that grab bag for so anybody out there playing Apex Legends, or if you haven't jumped into Apex or haven't bought either the characters or the season 1, or if you've already bought season 1 and season 2 is coming in about a month and a half and you want to hang on to the $20 for that, do that. That's in the grab bag. The drawing, I believe, is at the end of the month, and all you have to do is be a patron at the $1 level. So that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Gives you a good jump start into the game. Gets you a character or two. So, yeah. Or
you can put all $20 toward leveling up your battle pass to like level 21 or something.
Yeah,
I would advise against that.
I would advise that against that as well. I don't think I'm in level 20 yet.
Just by Octane.
Yeah,
that's all you need to do. So, taking a small break to thank our PSVG Patreon producers. Thank you to Coach Hulk, Edwin Callow, Devin Tyus, Kevin Austin, Chris M., Kyle Hyman, Bonesaw, Josh Borboni, Barry Cathcart, Paul Calicote. I read that as if there's going to be another person on that list, and it ends at Paul Calicote. So if you are out there and you are not on that list, check us out on Patreon, and so you can be on that list, and I'll read off your name every single week. Even if you have a nickname, I will read off the nickname. I can read it in a British accent if you want me to.
Yes.
It won't be very good, but I can do that.
Doesn't matter. Even better.
So I'm going to give you a choice. We're going to play this is a Telltale game for a minute.
Okay.
If you press triangle, we're going to talk about what we've been playing this last week. If you press circle, we'll talk about the new releases. If you press X, we'll talk about the news first. What do you want to
do? This is just a lot of pressure. I'm gonna go triangle.
What was triangle?
I believe that was what you plan.
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
that's right.
We'll
start there.
Go there. So what have you been playing this last week?
Well, I chose that option because I have been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I'm still enjoying very much. I'm enjoying it more the more I get into it. I've reached ship combat at this point, which isn't like, I don't love the ship combat, but it's like something fun to do on the side. So just try a few boats here and there.
Speaking of Assassin's Creed, there's a huge Ubisoft sale on the PSN store until May 21st.
Perfect.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey is $20, the base game at this point.
Awesome.
You can buy Odyssey and Origins together for $35, I believe.
Okay.
The base game. So,
well, I'm going to give it a big thumbs up. Go ahead and get that for $20. I'm still enjoying it quite a bit. Some pretty cool story missions I'm into now. And the overarching story, I think it's great. So I'm really enjoying that. Now I did buy something during the Golden Week sale last week.
Okay.
On my Vita, I bought Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions, and I've been playing that actually for a little while. So first time I picked up my Vita in 5 months, 6 months, I don't know, quite a long time. And it's an old PSP game, or I think it was on PSP. It was on a few different systems.
Yeah. It was a PlayStation Plus game a while ago. I mean years ago, and I tried it and I did not like it.
Now, have you played any of the Final Fantasy Tactics games?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean that's I've played that one because I've heard Final Fantasy Tactics is great.
Yeah.
I know Colin Moriarty talks about it a lot, and So
I had Final Fantasy, and I had Final Fantasy Tactics Advance on my Game Boy Advance back in the day, and I played hundreds of hours in that game. So, very much similar, different storyline that's very confusing and hard to follow, but I'm really in it for the combat. And then along with that, I also did purchase Dreams, the beta. Okay. So, I have not dived into that too much. I'm actually thinking about getting some Move controllers.
Okay.
Like I watched a stream, a Giant Bomb stream or video of them showing off Dreams, and I was watching the Media Molecule guy model with the Move controllers, and I just thought to myself, probably gonna be a lot harder with my controller.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if I can find them on like Facebook Marketplace or online or.
Yeah, I'm sure you can find them used.
I you know how many people probably have 4 or 6 of these just sitting in their basement, not being used.
Yeah,
and like I hate to pay full price for them at this point. So, not to mention who knows if they come up with a replacement. So,
right.
Yeah, I don't know, but I did purchase Dreams, and I'm still gonna at least be playing around with the creations. So,
yeah, that's once you get into it a little bit more, you'll have to give us your impression. So you haven't played any.
I have not actually got into the Dreamiverse. Yes.
Okay. No. Cool. All right. Is that it?
That's it for me. That's a lot for me. I don't typically like to juggle games around like that, but it's just been one of those weeks, and I've been very thankful. I actually let a friend borrow my Switch, so I didn't really have a portable game for last week. He was like studying, or he had to go to some work trip abroad in Switzerland, and he was really worried about not having anything to do in the evenings. And I was like, "Here, why don't you borrow this?"
Tell him you're in Switzerland. Go, as they say, you're in Switzerland. Do as the Swiss do.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Go out, and
I'll convey that message immediately.
Sip. I don't know what the Swiss do.
I think they have a lot of hot
cheese.
Chocolate.
Okay. Do they do cheese? Do they make cheese?
Swiss cheese?
I don't know. Yeah, the Swiss cheese.
Swiss Alps.
Yeah, Swiss Alps. You could go skiing. I don't know if the flag looks like the Red Cross symbol, sort of. So you could go.
It's kind of an activity. Just look at the flag for a little bit, figure out where that came from.
Help people.
Yep.
I don't know.
Doing the Switzerland.
Put the Switch away Not because I don't like the Switch. I like the Switch, but you're in Switzerland, man.
That's true. I do believe he's. I've seen some pretty good pictures. So,
dude.
But anyways, that led to me playing a lot more on my Vita, and I'm kind of thankful now.
Cool. I have been playing, of course, Apex Legends a little bit. I have slowed down on that. I think I've reached the point where I'm good playing it with friends, and then if I'm not playing it with friends, I'd rather play one of my other games I'm playing.
Yeah.
But I still really enjoy Apex and imagine I'll be playing that for a while. MLB The Show, still plugging away at that. I hopped back into, so they have that. I've been bouncing around trying to figure out how I want to play it, which mode I want to really dig more into. And right now, at least, I'm diving back into the season mode, March to October, where I'm the Indians and you. The game simulates through a few games and then pops you in the 8th inning, and there's 2 men on base, and you have a shutout going, and you have to keep the shutout. And if you keep the shutout, then your team gets momentum and you win more games. So it's kind of a way to still have an impact in your season mode without playing 162 9-inning games, where it's playing maybe 35 to 40 3-inning games. Kind of. So I've been enjoying that, and actually from having played Road to the Show mode and played the Diamond Dynasty mode and bouncing around a little bit, I can tell that I'm a lot better at the game. When I first started, I jumped into this March to October mode thinking, that's what I want to jump into, and I lost every opportunity that I had. It said, you need to come back from a 2-1 deficit. I lost. You have a 2-1 lead. I lost. Whatever it was, I lost the first.
Indians not doing so hot that year.
Yeah, at the beginning of the year. So I took a break from that, and now I'm back, and now I think I've played four different instances, and I've won each of them.
Okay.
So, and that's not, my goal isn't to win every game. The part of the fun of a sports game is taking a team that's not supposed to win and turning them into a winner. But,
do they do a good job of putting you on? Do they do a good job of putting you on defense and offense and back and forth? Or
so for this mode, kind of what I've run into so far is it pops you in, and it's the 7th inning, and it's either tied, you're up by a run or two, or you're down by a run or two, and you need to win the game. Or it might pop you in, in the 8th or even 9th inning, and your pitcher's on the mound. There's a couple people on base, and you have to secure the shutout or secure the save or whatever.
Okay.
Or sometimes it'll say, okay, you're Carlos Santana, and you just play that player during the game. You play all
the guitar player?
No, the baseball player.
Oh, okay.
The baseball player. The guitar player would be fun though. So you just play. You just play their at-bats for the whole game, and then if you do really well with that person, then they get kind of a stat boost the rest of the way.
Yeah.
So it's a fun way to be engaged. I'm only in, let's see, it's May 7th in the real world right now. I'm probably around May 10th in the game world.
Nice.
And so, actually the Indians in my game have played like 30 games, and I've maybe played in parts of 10 of them. So I'm getting to have an impact on it, and I'm enjoying it. And it's what I was looking for in a baseball game. I wanted to be able to just pick up and play, and that's all this is doing. I'm not making roster decisions and having to figure out, can I send down a player to the minors, or will he be released, or all the weird rules that baseball has that I like figuring out, but if I'm just sitting down on my couch, I don't necessarily want to mess around with that. And the other game I've been playing is Sekiro. It was on sale at Best Buy for $45 a week or two ago. And I still have the Gamers Club. And so I was able to get it after taxes for $38. So I figured at the very least, if I tried it and hated it, I could probably sell it back for about the same amount. And if I'm out a few dollars, then that's the cost of renting a game. Or I try it and I love it and I get a great game for $38.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so far, how much have you paid attention to that game at all? Have you watched any coverage or?
I mean, I paid attention gameplay before release. I haven't really paid attention after release.
So I don't know if you saw before release the boss fight that they showed was basically like the first boss fight, and it was a guy called the Chained Ogre, and it's this huge guy he has glowing red eyes, and he's chained to a board, and he breaks off and he chases you down. So I've basically now gotten up to I've beaten the Chained Ogre, and there's a guy just a little bit beyond him that is another general that I'm kind of stuck on right now, and so the game kind of, and everyone who plays it kind of tells you, if you get to a place where you're stuck, just go somewhere. There's somewhere else you can go, because I might need some different tools. So right now there's kind of like the main area, Ashina temple, I think. I forget exactly what it's called, but Ashina something. And then there's something you do where you go back in time by 3 years, and you it's like playing a memory. And you can go back to that memory and kind of farm some XP and gold and even some of the early areas I can do that. So right now I'm because every time you come to a shrine and you rest at it, it respawns all the enemies. So basically I can go through an area, stop at the shrine, respawn everybody, and then go back through the area. And so right now I'm kind of at this point where I need to add a couple of abilities, and I need the Sekiro's prosthetic arm. You through the game world, you find some tools that you can attach to it and use it in different ways. And so I was watching gameplay today of a walkthrough where a guy, when I went to the memory from 3 years ago, I went one direction, and where if I go the other direction, I will go and I'll find this axe that attaches to my prosthetic arm that is awesome.
Oh yeah.
So I need to go and do some of that kind of stuff, and then come back and circle back to this general that I'm having a lot of trouble with. So, it's an awesome.
How awesome tough was the first Chained Ogre boss? I mean, how many times do you think you died?
I died 3 times.
Oh, okay. That's not bad at all.
But that ogre, basically, I think in the pre-release time they showed that fight, like that was the fight that everybody got to play. And so if you watched GameSpot or Easy Allies or PlayStation Underground, whatever, they showed that fight, and they talked about you really need, and this isn't, I don't consider it a spoiler. The game's been out for a month. This is the first huge boss of the game. If you attack him with fire, he'll get stunned more easily, and you can beat him a little bit more easily.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So, and if you're going into the game completely fresh, you may miss that the first time. So you might. So there were a lot of people who missed that and went in and just got crushed by him. So I took the time before I ever even fought him to go find the tool to give me the fire to help take him down.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Another key to combat when you're fighting these kind of bigger bosses is if you can sneak around behind so every character has like a hit bar where you hit them a number of times and then you break down their defense, and then you can do a kill, like a final death blow. When you fight mini bosses and bosses, they have 2 hit bars essentially. You get through one of them and then you have to do it all over again. But if you can sneak around behind them somehow, you can get 1 death blow out of the way if you're stealthy. And I'm finding in the mini bosses and the one boss I fought so far, I basically have to do the stealth part, or otherwise I just can't. I'm not good enough to survive through essentially beating the boss twice. For the most part, you can get hit if it's a big character right now, I can get hit maybe twice before I die. But it's good. It's not an easy game, but the onboarding is smoother than in Bloodborne. Like you have a clear direction. I know. I mean, it's a weird world, and there's a lot of weird stuff going on. But my main motivation is I'm a samurai shinobi who, when Sekiro was a kid, there was a war in the Sengoku period, and he basically was an orphan. He was raised up and turned into you're guarding this young lord, and the young lord gets kidnapped. You get your arm severed by the kidnapper, and then you wake up and you have this new prosthetic arm, and basically you're told to go rescue the young lord. I mean, that's the setup. I mean, there's a lot more to it. There's the whole resurrection thing. I mean, that's part of the storyline. Is the more you die, the more there's a disease called dragon rot, and there are characters who get sick from dragon rot. And I'm at the very beginning. I mean, I'm sure I know that there's a long way to go, but my initial impressions are it's awesome. The combat is great. It does take some getting used to. You press R1 to swing your sword. You press L1 to block or deflect, and you press R2 to do kind of a special, like a ranged attack, kind of, or your prosthetic arm attack. And so it just using the shoulder buttons takes some getting used to. But it's good. I'm glad I've got it. And one other thing I appreciate. If you see any of the gameplay, it's a very bloody game. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have swords, so they stick the sword in the guy's neck or whatever, and then pull it out, and blood spurts everywhere. You can keep the blood at that level. You can make it mild, or you can turn it off. I played it for a little bit with it on, and then I turned it off just to see, and I truthfully don't miss anything with
the blood
being off. Yeah, it's fine with it being off, and it's a violent game. You're a guy with a sword plunging it into people's necks and throats and backs, and there's decapitations, and it's a violent game, period. But I can do without the blood splatter.
The gratuitous blood for sure. Yeah, I can see that.
Anyway,
very cool.
I'm quite enjoying that, and with Bloodborne, I love Bloodborne and still think it's one of the best games on PS4. I hit a wall where I just couldn't advance. I'm hoping that I don't hit that with Sekiro, but if I do, then I do. But I'm should be a ways away from that at this point. All right, moving on, because we do have a couple of big news items to hit. Did want to touch on the new releases for the week. There is a game that has been in development for a very long time, Shakedown Hawaii. It is from the developer of another game. It's a It's a 16-bit top-down kind of like GTA like that takes place in Hawaii, and then
Retro City Rampage.
Yeah, Retro City Rampage, which was basically like old school GTA. GTA, not GPA. Sorry, I work in schools, so
yeah. I had a 2.4 GPA when I graduated high school.
Okay.
Just if you want to know that, it's not a good score. It's a bad GPA.
Yeah. Well, you're from Michigan, so. Anyway, Shakedown Hawaii. I mean, it's been a lot of people are excited about it. I know Jason Lacey of Nintendo Shack fame, and of I guess now Flexdeposed fame. Was really looking forward to it. I know a lot of people are playing that on Switch right now. Also this week, Puyo Puyo Champions, and there's one other game. Oh, I don't know if this is any good, obviously. I don't know if any of these games are, but there's a game called Lovecraft's Untold Stories, an action roguelite with RPG elements. Explore randomly generated levels based on H.P. Lovecraft stories. That just jumps out at me, referencing Bloodborne, which is very much influenced by H.P. Lovecraft. And actually, that game got me to read a lot of H.P. Lovecraft. And so I like, that style of storytelling and everything. I don't know how that fits in with a roguelite, but if it's a decent game and ever pops on PS Plus or something, I might check it out.
I'm looking at this right now. It looks actually really cool.
Does it?
Yeah, it does. It's almost like a side-scrolling shooter, actually, which is, I don't know. It reminds me of what was that Guns game? Gun was in the name. Gun.
A recent game?
Yeah, I can't remember. Anyway, it looks. I'm actually kind of shocked how good this looks. Pretty cool.
Oh, okay, it's like a 8-bit-ish, 16-bit.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of.
Yeah, it has a good ambiance.
Let's say sometimes the new releases don't ever. The quality bar is not that high on some of these games. So this one actually looks like it might be a little bit above the others. So definitely could be worth playing if you're big into Lovecraft stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. I might check it out. Obviously, I have plenty to play right now.
Yes. So we could have more to play.
I could. We are about to have a lot more to play. We are headed into kind of prime game announcement season here. Even with PlayStation not going to E3, there's a lot of stuff coming. The big news that just dropped today, Tuesday, finally, EA Access is coming to the PlayStation 4. And I don't know, I don't know when EA Access was started, but it's been years now, at least 3, 4, 5 years maybe, that it was started on Xbox. And since it came to Xbox and PlayStation at the time said some dumb quote like,
"Oh, it was really bad."
Like, we don't see how that brings a value to our customers or whatever. It's like that's been the biggest thing that I haven't liked about the PS4 is this single decision to not want EA Access on the system. And it at times combined with EA Access and Game Pass has made me look at switching over to Xbox before. Ultimately, I stay around PlayStation because we have Spider-Man and Uncharted and just the promise of more games that I'm familiar with and that I know that I like and enjoy and everything. But EA finally announced that EA Access is coming to PlayStation in July. It will be $5 a month or $30 for a year. So where are you with Electronic Arts games?
I don't play a lot of them.
Okay.
I don't play a lot of sports games either. But I'm totally on board for this. Like $5 to test out, to play Madden for a little bit. Maybe get on with Coach Mo or some other people that play Madden a lot. And I'm looking at the list of games and just to have access to games like Battlefront 2, Andromeda. I've thought a few times now. Maybe I should just give Andromeda a shot. I know it's not quite as bad as people made it out to be.
Yeah.
And it's for $5 to give it a shot, I don't think that's bad at all.
Right.
So I don't have any big grudge against EA for sure.
Oh yeah. I don't either. I think a lot of times they have games that are, obviously they have games that are huge hits. They're one of the biggest game developers in the world. FIFA and Madden are, in the top 10 game, revenue in the world every year. I don't know if that's entirely true anymore for Madden, but but I know FIFA is. And FIFA is a game that every couple of years I feel like jumping into, but it's really kind of a waste for me to spend more than $20 on it, because I get in, I play it for, I don't even know if I ever make it through a full season or whatever. I just like to play FIFA occasionally. And same with NHL. I would play NHL if I had access to it, but I'm not going to go out and buy it. Yeah. NBA Live, I love basketball. I love basketball games. NBA 2K is a superior game for what I want to play with NBA. But if I basically get an NBA game for free every year, for $30, getting all of these games, it's a no-brainer.
That's kind of where I'm at too. It just makes, from the beginning, you've said it. You wish, you've been saying for a long time how you wish it would come to PlayStation, because it's definitely one of the best values in gaming right now.
I mean, the games on this list. Anthem, I bought day one. Now I didn't like it, but I bought it day one. That's an EA game. I have at least one FIFA game on my PlayStation and one on my Switch. I've played the Battlefield games, and I'm terrible at them. Obviously, I love Apex Legends. I think it's funny that it's on this list because it's a free game anyway, but maybe I think there is if you are an EA Access member, you get a perk of some sort.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Unravel. I have the first Unravel game, and that's a good kid-friendly game I can play with my kids or my wife. A Way Out. That's something, I don't think it got great reviews, but I'd jump into it if I.
Yeah.
And I would have people to play with, because a lot of people, I imagine, will get this. Burnout Paradise Remastered. That's a game I haven't been able to bring myself to buy, because I have a little bit of old game is old, and I've played that, and I'd rather play a newer racing game, but it's on there. That FIFO Fum game. Mm-hmm. Titanfall 2, with Apex Legends. I have been pretty close to buying Titanfall 2 a number of times in the past 3 months. And
if you're gonna get this, then I've said it before. I think it's one of the best first-person shooters out there.
And I've played the story. I got it from the library, but I'll play the story again. And I might jump into Mass Effect Andromeda, and maybe if I give that another try with better expectations, maybe I'll enjoy that again.
Play as if it wasn't called Mass Effect, it was just called Andromeda.
Yeah, pretty much. That's about what you need. I've said it, and it's something looking ahead to the next generation. And as we talk about Stadia and how game buying is going to be on Stadia, and Xbox has Game Pass and everything. Really, if I could pay $30 a year for all the EA games and subscribe to PlayStation Game Pass, where it gets the new games, or at least games within 6 months of release, for whatever it is, $10 or $15 a month. That might be all the game buying that I need to do. With EA at $30 a year, there's enough EA games that, do that and buy, buy an exclusive game or two, and I'm set, really.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about it. There are some questions. Some of the value of EA Access on Xbox is in the backwards compatible games. Like I know Donnie mentioned on our Discord that he plays, occasionally plays Fight Night from Xbox 360. And I think maybe the Mass Effect trilogy is on there. Dead Space 1, 2, and 3 is on there. So I don't, we won't have access to those games. But they're on PlayStation Now. I don't know if there could be some sort of voucher system or something where we could play some of the EA games on PlayStation Now.
I would definitely think it's the beginning of a relationship between the two.
But moving forward, EA Access is on the PS4, should be on the PS5, and the PS4 games will be backwards compatible on PS5. So moving forward, this is all good stuff.
Yeah.
So the other big news and something actually happening this week is that PlayStation's second State of Play is coming on Thursday, May 9th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm not going to be able to watch that live. 6 o'clock is pretty much dinner time here.
Yeah,
but
yep, same here. I might watch it. I might maybe watch it while I'm making dinner or something like that.
Yeah.
Because they tend to be around 10 minutes.
Yeah. This one I think said it'll be a quick show around 10 minutes.
Yeah. Which is surprising because they also said they're going to be showing off something new.
Yeah. It says PlayStation Worldwide Studios will be showing off an extended look at Medieval, that remake, as well as a first look at a new title, and we'll have other updates and announcements from upcoming PS4 games. Now, Justin, you like a long-running game series based in Japan that is a fantasy RPG series, correct?
Okay. Yep. Yeah.
The Final Fantasy
of
RPG
the final.
series.
Yep.
Yeah.
Persuasion. Yep.
So, this State of Play announcement has been retweeted a couple times by a guy named Shinji Hashimoto, who is I had to look it up because I don't know these guys, but he's a Japanese game producer at Square Enix. He currently serves as the Final Fantasy series brand manager and as executive officer at Square Enix and the head of Square Enix's Enix or Enix? I don't know. Business Division 3. He's also the co-creator of the Kingdom Hearts series. So no one really knows. It could just be a guy. The last thing, or one of the things that he tweeted, he says, and it's translated from Japanese, so I don't know what what literal or what the actual meaning is, but it says, "Oh, you've come." Was his? He retweeted the PlayStation announcement and just says, "Oh, you've come." So, and there was a guy. I should know who it is, but there's a guy on Twitter who covers a lot of Chinese, Asian, Japanese kind of gaming market stuff, who said that one of the things they'd be talking about is a game from a third-party developer that has been long dormant, that was announced a long time ago and hasn't been revisited for a while. So I don't want to get your hopes up too much, but but I think some signs point to
it's not Final Fantasy VII.
It's not?
No,
you don't think so?
Well, unless they're gonna make the same mistake of Final Fantasy VII, they completely switched developers on that within the last year. So there's
is that how close it's been?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago where they brought it in house. And I think basically as soon as Kingdom Hearts 3 was complete, they kind of brought it back in house.
Okay.
And there's just no way, unless they're gonna announce something way too soon again. I don't see it.
I hope not.
You know what I hope it is?
I hope that they don't announce something too soon again.
So they released Final Fantasy 7 and 9 again on PS4, but for some reason they skipped over 8. And they did it again. They did something similar again with on the Switch when they released Final Fantasy games on the Switch. But I think it'd be awesome if it was just Final Fantasy 8, like a re-release of Final. If they figured it out, I guess because I think Final Fantasy 8, like they actually lost all the source code for that game a long time ago.
Okay,
like just deleted it. So that's why it's never been. It's never been re-released for that reason. But it exists out in the world. You can just like figure it out. So I don't know. Maybe it's that. Maybe I feel like it's gonna be something completely surprising and probably something small.
Okay. Well,
I have zero. I have about like 1% of hope for this.
Okay. All right. So in our, if you visit our Discord, you can find Kyle. He's the host of Board with Video Games, and his username on Discord is Psychocross, CYCO Cross, CROSS. So he was talking a bit about what could come to State of Play. And the guy on Twitter, it's ZHUGEEX on Twitter, Daniel Ahmed, who tweeted, "This one will be better than the last for sure. We'll see updates to Sony games, a new title, and also the re-reveal of a third-party game that was announced long ago." And then a little further down, I guess a lot of the bets on the new game could be a sequel to Ratchet and Clank. There are also some people who think that it could be Bloodborne 2, since Sekiro is out now, and From could move on to Bloodborne 2 again. And then also there's this game called Wild that was revealed a long time ago from the creator of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
That has been dormant for a long time, but I think is maybe gaining some steam again. So that was another possibility for maybe that third-party game that hasn't been talked about in a long time. When Daniel Ahmed said there would be a re-reveal of a third-party game announced long ago, he included a picture of Shinji Hashimoto, who is the brand manager for Final Fantasy and executive producer of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. So, and Square Enix has a full show at E3. They're kind of taking PlayStation's time slot, I believe. I am not entirely sure. So you get a teaser at State of Play, Final Fantasy VII coming. For real. See more at E3.
Yeah, it's very much possible. I just don't see how it could possibly come out in 2020.
Yeah.
So I don't think they should announce anything that's 2 years away in 2021.
That's true.
So if anything, I'll take any news I can get, because it's, it'll always jump to the top of my list of anticipated games. So I just don't believe it. I do not believe it, but what do I know?
Yeah. Well, that'd be cool. I mean, it's not at all a game. I've never played any Final Fantasy game except for I played like the beta of Final Fantasy 14. And I played that one Final Fantasy Tactics game. So I haven't really played a real Final Fantasy game. So I'm not looking forward to it, but a lot of people would be. So, before we head out, it's May. It's a new month for PlayStation Plus games. This month's 2 PS Plus games are Overcooked 1, not Overcooked 2 for some reason.
Yeah.
And What Remains of Edith Finch. 2 very good games. 2 games that people who are interested in them probably largely own, but they're smaller games that a lot of people, I'm sure, don't own already. Yeah. And I have them both, but you've never played Edith Finch.
I've never played Edith Finch, and obviously I've heard you talk about it. I know Kyle likes it a lot, a few other people. So I'll definitely, without a doubt, play that. This is the first month in a couple months that I'm like, oh no, this is like a guarantee. Like, I'm definitely gonna play that. So,
well, and the nice thing about that one is that it's 6 hours, maybe.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So you can get through it in 2 sittings, or you can play it. One other nice thing, I assumed the premise of
Not
it.
really. I mean, kind of.
Well, then, anyway, within it, it's a story, but within it, there's a lot of chapters, I guess.
Yeah.
And so once you get through each chapter, you could take a break. I mean, you wouldn't want to stop in the middle of a chapter, but each chapter might take anywhere from 10 minutes to 30 or 40 minutes, depending on the story being told. So it's a great game to play in short chunks, or it's a great game to sit down and just plow through. Maybe while you're rocking a baby.
Sounds perfect.
Actually, that game may not be. You might get overly sentimental.
Oh, okay.
or something.
I mean,
I don't know. So, did you have anything else you wanted to talk on? We're kind of at our normal limit here.
Are we good?
So. We've had a good.
We were kind of scrambling for news until because we had to push back our recording date, and hey, we got lucky. I mean, the EA Access thing is very big news for us.
Oh yeah,
so I'm excited.
I'm very excited, obviously, about EA Access, and then we'll be back next week to talk everything State of Play. Which, if we're anything like the Nintendo Shack, we should be able to take a 10-minute video presentation and turn it into a 100-hour opus.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I'm sure that we can take a 10-minute presentation and at least talk for like 20 minutes about it. At least, I don't know. And hopefully by next week I will have beaten at least one more boss in Sekiro.
Yes, I would like a weekly kill count.
Okay.
As well.
I don't know about kill count, but I can probably give you like a weekly times I've died count.
Death count is what I was thinking of.
The one nice thing I felt so when I was fighting that chained ogre, and it took me a few tries, and the time that I finally got him, I had him almost to the end, and I fell off a cliff. Like I had one hit to go, and I fell off this cliff that was right beside him. I was like, oh. But when you fall off a cliff, you lose life, some of your health, but you don't lose all of it necessarily.
Oh.
And you just come right back up where you fell off, which is really, I mean, that is I'm sure that that's not the way that it would be in Dark Souls or Bloodborne.
Like they've made it a little bit more forgiving.
Yeah. So that was a little forgiving. And then before I could get my last hit in on him, he killed me. And I thought there was like a millimeter left on his life bar, and he killed me. And then the whole point of Sekiro is you can resurrect one time when you die. So I was able to resurrect and jump on him and do the death blow and win the fight. So it was a fun. That whole mechanic makes it fun. So anyway, follow us on Twitter at PSXP Podcast. Find us on the Discord. Visit patreon.com/PSVG. Please support us and all the 500 other podcasts that the Play Some Video Games Network puts on. This month in the grab bag, we have $20 of Apex Legends coins that obviously we want you to play on PlayStation. We want you to play with us on PlayStation. But if you play it on Xbox or PC, we can do the coins on any system. So join us. And thanks for listening. Have a great week.
And though we may pledge fanboy allegiances to different flags, deep down inside we all serve one master, one king, and his name is gaming. Forever may he reign!